We're going to see what God has to do today, but I want to talk to you today about, because we've been in this series. This is part 4 of our series, and I think we're going to extend it to a part 5. I know next week is Easter Sunday, but I think this searching series is something that is relevant to Easter, and so because we're all searching for something, and so today we're going to continue this series, searching, looking for answers when we can't even go to Google for answers. And you heard me say over these past few weeks in this series that I've used Google to search for many, many things. Some things that it just don't make no sense that I'm asking Google for these things. Look at Pastor Tasha shaking her head. It don't make no sense I'm asking Google for these type of things. But I don't know, it's the insomniac in me that I just am up late and my mind just start racing and I just start Googling just weird stuff. Like I did a whole sermon over a year ago about a gnat. Y'all remember that? Squirrels, gnats, and giants. I may bring back that series because it was so good. But it started because I Googled what is the lifespan of a gnat. Because I was watching TV late one night and the gnat was just flying in front of the TV, but I was too lazy to get up and try to kill it. And this gnat is just getting on my nerves. I'm trying to watch The Love Boat, and this gnat is just flying in front of my TV. Yeah, I still watch Love Boat, y'all. But this gnat is flying in front of my TV, and so I said, okay, if I just leave this gnat alone, how long before it just gives out and just dies on its own? How long does it take? I Googled that, and Google told me it takes 7 days. A gnat's lifespan is about 7 to 10 days. I said, well, I'm going to just give this gnat about a week and just let it fly around my house. This is the kind of stuff I Google, y'all. So welcome to Pastor Trey's world. But Google might even tell me, if I'm curious, who won the World Series in 1947. Now, don't nobody go grab your phones and tell me after service it was the Yankees. I don't know. Google might even help me translate my English language to German so that I can better communicate and have a conversation in German with my grandkids who speak both English and German. And Google might even help me, give me a recipe for biscuits, to make biscuits as good as Paula Deen. Come on, if you ever been to Savannah, Georgia, I recommend going to Paula Deen's restaurant. Them biscuits make you country. You just come out and just start talking. Them biscuits, y'all. They so good, y'all. I don't know what's in them biscuits, but I know it's about 2 pounds of butter in one biscuit. That's all I know. But Google might give me a recipe. Google might give me a recipe to say, Pastor Trey, you can make biscuits just as good as Paula Deen. Google might even help my child with her math, because I know I can't. I gave up on that in 4th grade. When Monet was in the 4th grade, I said, I'm done. If you struggling in math, we just got to hire a tutor, because Daddy can't help you. And there were many times I went to Google. We gonna have to figure out this answer. We gonna need Google to figure out. There were so many nights that I was just scratching my head, frustrated, and if it wasn't for the Lord, I probably would have had a glass of wine just to cool my head, because I don't know this answer. How do I figure this out? And so I relied on Google to give me the answers to the things that I can't find. But there's one thing that Google can't help me find. It's power. Google cannot help me find power. And that's the title of today's message, Searching for Power. Searching for power. And my cell phone provider, y'all, we have Verizon. And about a year ago, they started contacting me and invited me to upgrade my phone. Y'all get those messages too, those text messages asking you to upgrade your phone? And I was adamant, y'all. I'm getting these messages and they're saying, hey, you can upgrade your phone with no added fees or all this other stuff. And to make you think for a minute, but I was adamant, y'all. I was like, I ain't upgrading my phone. I'm still paying off the current phone that y'all gave me a year ago. I'm still paying that off. But now you want me to upgrade, so you want me to go deeper in debt. You go have to charge me to pay off this phone, and so now you're going to start me making monthly payments on a new phone. Nope, I'm not doing it. And I was going to block their text messages, but for some reason I just felt some kind of way about blocking the people that I got to pay a bill to every month. I'm like, oh, well, if they block me, they may block my service. So I'm just going to deal with getting these text messages. And so I was adamant that I was going to keep my phone until this phone had to fall apart in my hands before I traded in for another one. Fast forward to today. And I have one more payment left on my phone. I have one more payment left on my phone before it's paid off. And here comes Verizon again. Hey, we noticed that you're about to pay off your phone. It's time to upgrade. And now I'm looking at my phone and I'm seeing this message. I'm like, you got one more month before you all mine, but I may trade you in. And we do that not only with phones, but we do that with our cars as well. I got a couple more payments. My truck be paid off this year. And already I'm going to CarMax.com seeing what's out there. Going to the Tesla lot, I'm already seeing what's out there. But here comes Mr. Google trying to talk me into trading in my phone. And now I'm telling myself, because it's almost paid off, maybe I do need a new phone. Maybe I do. And it seems like my phone knows it's about to be paid off. Come on, we've been there. It seems like right when your phone is about to be paid off, now it just seems like the battery don't charge. It don't stay charged. Like a year ago, I would charge my phone overnight and it would last me all day. And now about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm down about 30%. Wait, what? What's going on, Mr. Phone? I'm about to pay you off, but now you're going to break down on me? And it seems to happen that way with our cars too. As soon as we pay them off, everything go wrong. Everything go wrong. It seems like my phone knows it's and all of a sudden the battery and the power is drained. Or maybe, and instead of me taking it to the shop or back to Verizon and saying, hey, something's wrong with my phone, what do? I blame it on the charger. Oh, this charger's no good. But I don't go to the Apple store because I got an iPhone. I don't go to the Apple store. I don't even go to the Verizon store to buy me a new charger. Where do I go? 7-Eleven, Dollar Tree. And I get that cheap cord, expecting this cheap cord to power my phone. The power that came from the original cord, the one that would charge my phone in just 2 hours and it would last me all day. Now I got this cheap Dollar Tree cord that now it takes my phone 8 hours to charge up. And I'm expecting the same results. Come on, I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one. And I find myself just waiting for power to be restored. And I believe some of us are like that in our lives. We're just waiting. Our power has been drained and we're waiting for power to be restored. In one way or another, we're all searching for power. And it seems like we are constantly being drained of power. Friendships, it just seems to just drain us because it seems like it's this one-way type of friendship. We give and we give and we give, and no one is pouring back into us. Our kids just want, and it just seems like we don't have time for ourselves to replenish ourselves, and our power just seems to be constantly drained. Maybe even in our faith life, our power is running low. Instead of it being green, that battery life being green, now we're starting to see a little bit of red in our faith life. We were once strong in our faith. We were consistent about going to church. We were eager to give, eager to serve. And no matter what trials we faced, we never wavered in our belief in God. There was never a battle we didn't think God would win on our behalf. But somehow life kept lifing. And it just started hitting us with blow after blow after blow. And so now we're starting to question, when, God? Why, God? Why me? And through asking these questions, we find ourselves becoming less and less powerful than we once were. We're not God, and so our faith gets weakened and we find ourselves low on power. And I believe that the woman we're going to talk about today, she found herself low on power. If you were here last week, you know we sat in Luke chapter 8 for the entire message. And at the end of this chapter in Luke 8, there's a story about a man named Jairus who we talked about last week, and the crowd started gathering around Jesus as Jairus was pleading with him. I need you to come to my house because my daughter is dying. I need you right now. I need you to come to my house. And so as Jesus said, I will come. And as Jesus was being rushed away to Jairus' house, the crowd began to follow him, everyone reaching after him because they needed something as well. But a woman somehow made her way through the crowd and she touched Jesus. And that was a touch like none other. Let's read about this woman for just a moment. We're going to stay in Luke chapter 8 for just a moment. Luke chapter 8, verse 43. And it says here, and there was a woman who had a discharge of blood for 12 years. And though she had spent all of her living on physicians, she could not be healed by anyone. So this woman was low on power. She couldn't find a way to stop the bleeding, the blood that was supposed to sustain her in her life, the blood that was supposed to be flowing through her veins to keep her heart beating, the blood that was supposed to keep her alive was slowly leaving her body. And I'm pretty sure she tried every home remedy that there was. Come on. When we're going through something, when we're dealing with a sickness, we the first thing we do, we don't call the doctor. We don't go to the doctor. We sure enough ain't going to the emergency room because we're going to be there all day. But what we will do, we will go to Google or WebMD or call mama and ask for a remedy for what's going on in our body. And this woman, she went to every single doctor and nothing seemed to work for her. Nothing worked. And she got second and third and fourth opinions, but nothing seemed to work. And now she had spent all of her money on these doctors. She's out of options and now powerless. And it makes me wonder if there are things in your life that make you feel powerless. Come on, if we go too long with our cell phones without being plugged into a source of power, then the cell phone doesn't operate the way that it should. And maybe sometimes in our life that we go through day after day just letting this world beat at us, and we just getting blow after blow. And if we're not consistent about plugging into a source, we can find ourselves low on power. Sometimes you got to make sure that there's a power source that you can plug into. Sometimes you got to make sure that the power that comes from God, that you're plugging into that on a regular basis. Do not wait till just Sunday to plug into God. You got to plug in him on Monday. When you get up tomorrow, you know there's going to be something. Whether there's traffic, whether there's issues on your job, make sure that you're plugged in all day long to the source. There's going to be something that happens on Tuesday. You're going to get a call from your child's school saying that they were misbehaving today. You better make sure that you have a source to plug into and don't go into that school low on power. There's going to be an issue happen with your car. There's going to be an issue that happens in your home. Something is going to go wrong this week. Best believe it. But you got to make sure that you're plugged into a source where you can be replenished with power. See, this woman, she had gone to many sources, thinking that these sources was the source for power. But they weren't the source. And so she was left with a one last option: to plug into the source of all sources. And if I could just touch power, if I could just reach out to power, it'll be enough to replenish me, to heal me. And so in our lives, when we feel powerless, what do? Is it that you were once diagnosed with a disease that has no cure? Or maybe you feel like you're giving your all to a relationship and it just doesn't seem to be reciprocated. Maybe you're looking at your retirement plan and trying to figure out how to get out of debt, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to work out. It seems like you're just going to be working for the rest of your life, and now you just feel helpless and powerless. There are things in life that make us feel powerless and unable to control the world around us. Just makes us feel like I have no power. But you have to ask the question, where do I go to look for power? We know this woman, she went and spent all that she had on doctors who couldn't heal her. She was looking for doctors to do what they don't even have the capability of doing. I was listening to a world-renowned doctor not long ago give, I think it was like a TED Talk or something. And he said something quite eye-opening. I had to copy and paste it. He said, my job as a physician is not to heal you. My job is to treat the disease or the sickness. Only the body can heal itself, and that is by God's design. I'm not a healer, is what this doctor is saying. I am not a healer. I am a treater of the illness. I can give you medicine. I can give you, if there's something wrong with your neck, we could do surgery if there's something like that. But I cannot heal you. Only the body can do that which God created can heal. Doctors don't heal. Medicine doesn't heal. Only the power of God that is already in you can heal. Now, I'm not saying, come on, I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. I'm not saying stop taking your medicine because you need to treat those symptoms while the body heals. You need to treat what's going on in your life while God heals. You need to treat that marriage while God restores it. Come on. You need to treat that friendship while God bridges the gaps together. You need to treat that financial burden while God makes a way out of no way. You need to treat the situation while God heals it. I'm telling you to continue to take your medicine. I remember Mo and I, we had a conversation a few weeks ago. If the doctor prescribes you penicillin for 10 days, and just because you start feeling better after 3 days and you stop taking it, keep on taking that penicillin. Keep treating your body while it heals itself. Come on. Even though you see God working things out in your life, I can stop praying now because I see God, he's taking the wheel right now. So I can slow up on my prayer life. I can slow up on going to service. I don't have to put as much energy because God is working things. You better still treat that situation while God is still working on the healing. I want to talk to you today about 3 places where we search for power in this world. 3 places where we search for power in this world. Number 1, we search for power in self. We search for power in self. We rely too heavily on self-sufficiency. And we end up carrying so much on our shoulders. And when we carry unnecessary burdens, we find ourselves powerless and less effective. I don't know about you, but I sometimes watch the strongman competitions, and sometimes they would lift a whole truck and walk carrying that truck like it's a wheelbarrow behind them. And sometimes they would have these 50-pound sandbags on their shoulders. And they have to walk uphill with these 50-pound sandbags on their shoulders. And these are strong and powerful men, but there comes a time when the weight on their shoulders, they've been carrying it for too long, all of a sudden their legs get a little weak. And they find themselves in a situation where I'm out of power. I cannot make it to my destination. And sometimes we are the same way. We carry so much weight of this world. We carry so much weight of our sins and our issues and our problems and our addictions. We carry that so long that eventually our legs give out and we are now powerless. That's where we find ourselves with self-sufficiency. I want you to remember this, that self-sufficiency makes our limited self push away from an unlimited God. See, we're limited, but we're serving unlimited God. But when we have the spirit of self-sufficiency, like I can do bad all by myself, I'm independent, I can do this, I got this, we find ourselves pushing away from an unlimited source from God. Self-sufficiency also makes us think we know what's best. We become the doctors in our own lives. I've been through that. Let me tell you how to get through it. I know what you've been through, and because I went through it, all you got to do is do what I did. We become the doctors in our lives, and we medicate ourselves. We even medicate ourselves on TV. Well, if I just binge watch this show on Netflix, it's going to make me forget about my problems. So we medicate on TV. We medicate on social media. Ooh, I see them traveling to Cancun. Maybe if I could just live myself vicariously through them, I'll feel a little better. If I just close by the things I see on social media, if I see other people living their best life, maybe if I just chase after that, I'll be all right. But do you know that a lot of the things that you see on social media, newsflash, isn't real? Those social media influencers that it seems like every week they're in New York, they're in Chicago, they're in Cancun, they're in Miami, they're in Europe. They're not traveling that much. Those are pictures that they done stored up for the past 10 years, and they keep posting them and recycling them over and over and over to make their lives look like they're better than what they really are. But truly, they're probably waving, "Welcome to Walmart" this morning. But because of the image that they put out on social media, you think that they have it all together. And whatever they're doing, I need to do that as well. We can't medicate ourselves on social media. Some of us, we medicate on substances. Oh, I've been going through something, and if I just take this substance, if I take this pill, if I just drink this drink, I'll feel better about my situation. And we even believe the lies that marijuana is a cure for every disease in the world. We believe these lies because we've been self-sufficient and we relied on self for so long. But even with marijuana and alcohol or pills, it doesn't matter. It doesn't heal the disease. The disease is still there. It's just numb for a moment. And all we've done is just put a Band-Aid on a problem that requires surgery.
That's good. Yeah.
The second thing that we search for when we're looking for power, we search for power in others. How many likes am I going to get? How many followers do I have? Oh, Oprah said that if I read this book, it's the answer to all my problems. I done seen a lot of Oprah books of the month, but I ain't never seen the Bible as one of them. But if Oprah says it, if Oprah has read it, then this is the book that I need. This book has the answers for me. I'm going to let you know right now, Oprah ain't read that book. She got a team of people who read the book and tell her, this is the book you should tell people to read, because the publisher is going to pay you to tell people to read this book. That's the way it works. Do you know that New York Times best-selling authors, they got to pay to be on the New York Times bestseller list? It doesn't mean anything to be a best-selling author if you got to pay to be on a list. Celebrities who get their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, do you know they have to pay for that? It's not just given to them. So truly, if you had the money, if you had about $300,000, you could get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Don't nobody know who you are, you could get a star. So what we see as power in others isn't really power. Oh, if only I could join this network, this group of friends, or if only I could join this fraternity or this sorority or join this club. I'll feel more powerful. If only I could get married, or if only I could date someone, it would restore some power in my life. These things only make us codependent. Our joy, our peace, our power is tied to the validation of someone else. That's not power. Now, God desires for us to be in relationship with one another, absolutely. But when our relationships supersede our dependence on God, we find ourselves in a trap. We find ourselves trapped in this social box that we cannot get out of because we're so dependent on who knows us, what circles we're involved in, and who we're connected with, and who we can connect ourselves with. We become trapped. So we search for power in self and others. And the third one, we search for power in things. We search for power in things. We say things like, if only I had a 4-bedroom house instead of this 2-bedroom apartment. If only I had a car. If only I had that car, even though I'm paying on the car that I still have, if only I had that car, I'll be all right. Even though I still got 3 years to pay off this car, but if only I had that car, I feel more powerful. If only I had those $200 Jordans from Foot Locker rather than the $50 shoes from Famous Footwear. And I'm saying this as I'm looking down and I'm wearing Jordans, but I didn't pay $200 for them. I'm just, so I'm preaching to myself. But if only I had the expensive purse. Come on. Oh, look down. I see a bunch of feet balled up right now because I'm stepping on some toes. If only I had that expensive item, if only I had that expensive perfume, if only I had what costs a lot, if only I had that expensive stuff, I would feel like there's some value and some power in my life. But there is nothing we can obtain that could match the power that comes from our souls being in unison with God's power.